Islam teaches that Abraham and Ishmael built the Kaaba as a house of pure monotheism. Abraham is also described as a true monotheist, what Islam later calls a Muslim. But this raises a serious historical and theological question. If Abraham built the Kaaba for the worship of one God, why was it later filled with idols? According to early Islamic and non-Islamic sources alike, the Kaaba contained hundreds of idols by the time of Muhammad. Islamic tradition itself says around 360. These idols were not recent additions. They represented long-standing Arabian tribal deities that had been worshipped for generations. This creates an immediate problem. If Abraham truly built the Kaaba and preached pure monotheism in Mecca, then two things should follow. First, Abraham would have taught the people there to worship one God. Second, some trace of that monotheistic tradition should have survived, either in records, rituals, or at least resistance to idol worship. But there is none. There is no historical evidence that Mecca was ever a center of Abrahamic monotheism before Islam. No inscriptions.no writings. No prayers.no community claiming descent from Abraham's monotheistic teaching. Instead, all available evidence, Islamic and non-Islamic, shows Mecca as a fully pagan city until Muhammad's lifetime. Muslims often respond by saying Abraham's teachings were forgotten or corrupted, but the Quran itself complicates that explanation. The Quran states that no messenger and no scripture was sent to the Arabs before Muhammad. That directly contradicts the idea that Abraham came to Mecca as a preacher establishing lasting monotheism among its people. If Abraham preached in Mecca, then the Arabs were not without guidance. But the Quran explicitly says they were. Either Abraham came to Mecca, built the Kaaba, taught monotheism, and left a religious legacy, or the Arabs had no prophet and no revelation until Muhammad. The Quran chooses the second option. There is also a historical silence problem. Abraham is a major figure in Jewish history. Jewish texts are detailed about his travels, his family, and his descendants. Yet none of them place Abraham in Mecca. None mention Ishmael building a sanctuary in Arabia. This claim appears only in Islamic tradition, over 2,000 years after Abraham is said to have lived. When a story appears late, lacks external confirmation, and conflicts with earlier sources, including the Quran's own statements, it raises serious doubts. So the issue is not whether Muslims revere Abraham. The issue is whether the claim that he built the Kaaba fits history, theology, and evidence. If Abraham built the Kaaba for one God, why did no one worship that God there until Muhammad? And if that foundational claim fails, then the story built on top of it deserves to be questioned as well. Faith may accept the tradition,